Exclamation, everybody. Welcome to a browser-based RPG game called Conclave. Uh, as you can see, this is just the homepage here. I'm going to log in right now. Now, this is my second attempt to record this. So as you can see, I've already got a character set up here, and it's already up to level 2. Uh, I tried recording this with Fraps, and unfortunately, it only recorded some sections and not others. I assume because the browser is efficient in what it actually refreshes and doesn't refresh. So I'm trying a different technique here. Hopefully, I'll get everything in this technique rather than just a few bits and pieces here and there. So we'll see. I'm going to continue with this character. However, I am going to start over the first mission, not the mission that I'm on right now. Just to show you the prologue. And unfortunately, it's going to be easy for my party because I've already leveled up. But, you know, it's still the same story and everything else. I really just want to give you a preview of what this looks like. This is actually this is more in the style of a tabletop game. So let's start the prologue here. Prologue. In the common room of the Hammer and Tongs, the fire is low, and the inn's bard has put away his loot for the night. Like the other patrons who linger so late, you've come to stave off sleep, which in recent weeks has been heavy and dreamless for all in Bastion. The city is quiet, or as quiet as any city its size can be. The harvest from the fields of the Agnorveld, I believe that's how you say it, have started to fill the markets, and the Aegis protecting the whole of the Conclave remains as strong as ever. Yet no one seems to dream. And you sit and watch the fire's embers while the innkeeper sweeps up the scraps of the day. Onward. Do you play Snapdraw? Asks the smiling Mezazar at a nearby table as she holds out a deck of cards. Her coppery scales and turquoise eyes are familiar. Idris, you believe she's called. You've seen her hawking the day's catch with the fishmongers at Spraydown Market. Before you can answer, you hear the rising call of a horn from outside the inn. It's not a sound you've heard in the city before. It might be the call of a shepherd or a hunter. As the sound fades, the innkeeper strides toward the open door of the inn and glowers out into the darkness. Hold now, the Forgeborn rumbles. You wake the dead with your noise. You hear no response, and Idris shrugs and returns to dealing out her cards. Hefting his broom, the innkeeper steps out into the shadowed street. Choose a course of action. Play Snapdraw. The innkeeper looks burly enough to take care of himself. Or intercede. You feel uneasy, leaving a man armed only with a broom to his fate. Well, I am the ever-present hero, so I must intercede. Taking your leave of Idris, you hail the innkeeper and offer to confront the noisemaker. With a shrug, he returns to his sweeping, and you step outside. It takes a few moments for your eyes to adjust to the dim light. When they do, you find the street in front of the inn deserted. You walk ahead a few paces and look in both directions, but you see no sign of the hornblower. You're about to return inside when you catch a glint of metal from the shadow of a building further down the street. A figure in ragged trousers darts toward you, notched blade poised to strike, and the challenge begins. Alright, so this is the battle screen here. Now, let me look at my adventure here. I am a female Nyx Vanguard. You'll see this 100 here is the sort of currency of the game, and I forget the actual name that they give it. My apologies. But that's used to actually buy weapons and armor. Unfortunately, 100 is not really enough to do anything useful. And you see all my passive abilities and my equipment right now. An ancient mace, a wooden shield, and a leather cuirass. Excuse me. And of course my abilities and strength and fortitude and all that fun stuff that you would expect from an RPG. Now what I'm going to do is you get basically each round consists of you taking a minor and a major action. So I will take a minor action here. In this case I will say move. And I'll move toward my attacker here. And then you get a major action, which is where you actually attack and or recover, or in my case move. And then your opponent gets a similar round here. Moves one square. Moves another square. Alright, now we're at the round 2. Now, it's pretty much the gist of it as far as the battle. I keep pressing the wrong thing here. As far as the battle screen is concerned. So I will do a move. The one thing, let me do my smash here. Well-placed blow with a bludgeon slams right through thin armor. Physical protection is reduced by 1 during the attack. Protection reduces damage from attacks. Okay. I will act on that. Smash. Physical resistance is reduced by 1, and I do 5 blunt damage. And he's wounded, as you can see up here in the yellow. Now, this game, one of the reasons I am playing just the first mission here, or first quest, first quest, I should say, is that this really does require you to have multiple players. It's not really a easily soloable game, or at least not with the character that I have. Perhaps it works better with a different character. I haven't really explored what I can do. Let's do a smash here again. But it does strongly recommend to you when you start up that you have multiple players. Now the nice thing about this is sort of like the old email game type things, where all of your players in your party do not have to be present at the time that you're playing. So in other words, I can go and make all my turns, make all my moves, and the other players can make their moves in whatever order they need to or want to, and we can do them at any time within 24 hours. So anytime they get a free moment, they can come in and log in and do what they need to do. There's also a vacation mode where you can say, I'm not going to be around for a while, so it doesn't hold you to that 24-hour period. So that's kind of cool, because then you don't have to have all the people present while you're doing it, although I'm sure it's much more fun that way. Obviously there's a chat here, so you can chat amongst yourselves, amongst the other players that are here. There's also, and I've done this guy in, there's also a find the party, so if you don't have any friends, such as me, forever alone, you can do a find a party here, and it will attempt to find someone else who is looking for a party, and you can join up and try to do some quests together. With the last of your foes defeated, you continue on your quest. You call for someone in the inn to fetch the spire guard, but no one answers. Turning, You're surprised to see that the inn's door is shut and its windows dark. 2 uneven lengths of chain are all that's left of the sign that hung outside just a few moments before. It's as if the inn closed months or even years ago. Looking around, you realize that the city is dark and lifeless in every direction. The horn sounds again, its notes longer and more distant now. You follow its last echoes northwest, passing through several narrow streets that are just as deserted as the one you've left behind. At last you see the firefight, or let's try that again. At last you see the firelight ahead, and you enter a small courtyard with a well and a few piles of burning rubbish. Lying atop one pile is a blackened skillet that smells of charred meat. You hear a hiss from the other side of the courtyard. A drakeling moves into the light, a bit of bloody cloth trailing from its jaws. It looks much like the hall lizards used by some of the city's merchants, but its eyes show no sign of their docility, and its body is gaunt and scarred. And another challenge begins. Alright, we're going against an escaped drakeling, which looks like a damn lizard here. Alright, let's move forward, try to meet this challenge. And we will move again. So, I dig the concept behind having these sort of pen and paper RPGs. You know, I like my computer RPGs. Ooh, 3 acid damage. But every so often I like to jump into the sort of the more, what's the word I'm looking for? Not expansive, but expository games like this that are sort of, you know, let's take it easy. Let's do a little turn-based thing. Let's you know, let's focus more on the story than on the action, essentially. And I like that. Every so often, it's nice to have a little break from the norm. And to be honest, I've never really played a tabletop RPG. My brother used to be, you know, very much into Advanced Dungeons and Dragons back in the day. I'm trying to think. I looked at some of his. He still has a lot of his books around, and I had looked at them briefly. I think I don't think they were 3rd edition rules. If I, and this is where I might have to turn my geek card in here. If I remember correctly, the 3rd edition rules were based entirely in the Forgotten Realms, or Faerun, is I believe the in character representation of it, of that world, or name for that world, I should say. His books were taking place in, let's see if I can remember it. I think he had maybe, I don't know if it was 1st edition or 2nd edition. Trying to think of the actual continent that he was playing on. It was definitely a continent, not an entire realm. And I feel like it began with an M, and I just can't. It escapes me right now. I can't. I don't know why. But anyway, he was into the whole tabletop, you know, advanced D&D. He had all the, you know, the Dungeon Master books, and 5 blunt damage, and yeah, Dungeon Master books, and all the, like, the maps, and the pewter figurines. They were kind of cool. I remember playing with them. I didn't know how any of it worked, but I remember playing with the little figurines. And he had notebooks with the graph paper in them. It was pretty funny. And all his maps, on there. Beyond the well, you find the mangled body of a Lumen woman. Still clutched in her fist is a long dagger that might once have been fine, but is now chipped and pitted with rust. The horn's call comes again, and much louder this time. With its sound still echoing, you leave the courtyard and cross Orium's Meander, a wide street that snakes through nearly all of Bastion's districts. On the other side, you enter one of the upper city's gardens. Passing between the twin trees that form its living gate, you see that their branches are withered and lifeless. Inside, you follow an overgrown path to the base of a low hill fringed with trees. From its top comes the sound not of the horn, but of a guttural chant. Creeping closer, you glimpse robed figures circling a misshapen stone monolith. Its surface pulses with a sickly gray light that illuminates the chanters, whose goatish features and horns mark them as trolls. Each holds a knotted length of cord, undoing one knot whenever the chant reaches a crescendo. Choose a course of action. Charge ahead. Taking the chanters by surprise is your best chance to stop the ritual they're conducting. Or advance cautiously. Though the chanters are distracted, there might be other foes hidden nearby. And a third option is not available to me because I don't have a high enough lore. Well, if I know anything about magic enchantments, you want to charge in and stop them before they get too far along. So that is what I will do. You race up the path as the trolls finish a round of the chant and undo another knot. You're almost upon one when she hears your approach and turns around, cursing you in the broken tongue. And the challenge begins. Okay. We got a troll chanter and a troll chant leader. So let's see if we can advance here. And we'll advance once more. Go towards this guy. Or gal. Whatever it is. Ooh. There we go. A little bit of internet packet loss there. Okay. Transfix. The troll's chanter transfix fails to affect me. Good. Okay, so that's the troll chanter, and so I'm going after the leader, which usually is a good idea. Transfix. Move. Right. Okay. Minor action. Let's see if we can size up this opponent here. Okay. Didn't seem to help me yet. But I will do maybe I'll do a wild swing. What the hell? There we go. We did... My damage is increased by 2, and I got a critical hit out of it. Nice. Nice. 8 blunt damage. And he is gravely wounded, staggered, and is... Well, okay, well, I'm off balance, but he's staggered. Okay. Cool. Alright, Troll Chanter. Horrifying Strike. Solidly hits me with a short staff, 3 blunt damage. Okay. I am now under the effects of Afraid. He healed 1 damage. Alright. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, it's funny. I'm remembering more. I'm still trying to remember that damn continent name. It was like the 2nd edition rules or something. I cannot. I have to. I have to trade in my geek card, I think. I've lost all credibility. But it's funny, now that I'm remembering it. Uh, my mom actually, at some point, I don't know how it ever came up in conversation, but she mentioned that I had met. Oh, can't. Can I not? Cannot do that. Apparently. Um, can I do. Can I do this? No. Did I miss something here? Oh, I guess. Oh, because of that effect. All right. Let me recover then. All right. I have that afraid effect. Okay, that's probably what it is. All right. Whatever. That was a waste of a round. Yeah, somehow we got talking to it, and my mom actually told me that at some point, my brother was really into the whole Dungeons and Dragons thing, the pen and paper, and then later, of course, the games, computer games and whatnot, and Sega games. Um, and she actually said that she was worried at one point in time because, back then, the big thing was, how you hear nowadays it's oh, games, video games are bad and all that stuff. Well, video games were um, still very new back then, so that they hadn't really caught on yet. So there was always something else, right? There's always something else like, oh, your kids are doing this. This is terrible. You gotta put an end to it. And wow, I still can't do anything there. Huh? That's weird. I hope this. I hope this effect gets off of me soon, or else this is going to be a really long battle here. What do I have to do to get rid of that? Oh, mine's one to all checks. Well, why can't I? Let's try moving a little bit and see if that helps. And oh, I see. I see what my problem was. I because I had two people to attack, it wanted me to select somebody to attack, and now that I only have one, okay. All right, I are stupid. That's just on me. Sorry about that. Trying to tell stories and play the game at the same time. I think by now I'd be used to this, but no, I'm not. Anyway, yeah, at that time, it was a big deal, Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, your kids are conjuring up Satan. Which is just hilarious to think about, even that we would even care enough to do that. So yeah, he was, it's very addicting, obviously. Anything that's that involved can get pretty addicting. And he was very into it, and my mom actually admitted that she was kind of worried at one point, because you hear, she's a reasonable person, and normally any reasonable person would kind of question what they hear, but when you hear it enough times and you don't understand, you don't understand, you don't I guess it is, you don't understand what the appeal is, or what your kids are actually doing. It still puts that fear in your head. It puts that nugget of maybe I should pay closer attention, because something might be behind all this hysteria that I keep hearing. So so she admitted to me that she was a little bit worried about him, trying to get him to go out and just do sports and everything. Of course, my brothers were more into sports than I ever was, so that wasn't really a fear. But it's pretty funny. just thinking. I mean, I just remembered it, and just thinking about that makes me laugh a little bit because it is the same exact thing video gamers go through nowadays. Even oh, all this violence and all this blood, and oh, it's destroying our generation, and yeah, whatever. Every generation has something. Just comes down to reasonable people to put it in perspective. All right, we finally got rid of those trolls. Too late, gasps the last troll as it falls. The gray light of the monolith fades. All around you, dozens of inhuman shapes coalesce from the darkness left behind. Silhouettes of too many limbs, reflections of single unblinking eyes. The shapes begin to crawl, scuttle, and float towards you, backing you against the monolith. Then the horn sounds again, a reverberating blast that dissolves the shapes back into the shadows. For behind them steps an ancient trowel, tall but stooped. Around his neck is slung a great curved horn. Saving figments from figments again, old beast, he mutters to himself. Well, it passes the time, and we have no end of that. He stops and peers at you. No, through you, to something beyond. You're from the real, he exclaims. He reaches behind you, moving his hand through the air as if it were running it along the length of taut rope. Did I say that right? He reaches behind you, moving his hand through the air as if he were running it along a length of taut rope. Yeah, okay, I said it right. With his other hand, he makes a plucking motion, and for a moment you swear you hear a faint note. You feel a tug, and suddenly you're back at the table in the common room of the Hammer and Tongs. Everything is as it was before you first heard the horn. You see the innkeeper sweeping near the door, and Idris shuffling her cards. The only difference is that the ancient trowel is now seated next to you. My name is Haro, he says. What you now call the Ashenweld was once my home. I was one of its dream callers, and my task was to keep it safe. I did not succeed. How the fires began, I cannot say. Fire is a part of nature, but these spread farther and wider than any mentioned in the songs of our ancestors. Panic spread faster still. Where my fellow dream callers and I sought aid, we found only empty villages. One by one we fell to the flames until only I was left, trapped behind a curtain of flame and smoke. In desperation then, I called upon the dream song, and boldly, bodily, I don't know if he meant boldly or bodily, entered the dreaming, because it's spelled bodily, I think. My eyes are just crossing right now. There was no momentary dream walk. I did not know where or when I could safely return. By the time the fires had ended, I had lost my way in that ever-shifting realm. I do not know how many years I wandered in dreaming, for time does not mean there what it does here. I am certain, however, that this was not nearly so long or gray when I left. He pulls on his beard, which reaches nearly to the belt of his tunic. While I was lost, the real was like a land beyond a rushing river. Though I could see the other side through the mists, when I tried to cross, I was swept away to somewhere unfamiliar. For a time he says nothing. Like all dreams, my time spent in the dreaming has already begun to fade. Yet I remember what I saw of the real, and I know that a few in Bastion still dream without the aid of magic. If you are willing, perhaps together, we can learn why. Your adventure need not end here. Alright, and that was the first quest. The Bastion here you see is actually broken into 3. This is the Pool of Reflection. This is where you actually go and level up your character when you have enough points to do so. And this is the Vault of Arms, where you go and trade in your renown. Yes, that's what that's called. to try to get some shinies here. As you can see, 125 is like the baseline. These things are all about the same as what I have. So you gotta get up there pretty good. And I got this 100 I got entirely from beating that first quest. I didn't get it again because obviously I already beat it once. Excuse me. And of course all your quests around here, the green being the next one that it suggests for you. And it says this quest is the right difficulty for your party. I can tell you right now, I've tried playing this and I can't get past the first encounter in this quest with my character. It's just not possible. So that's how I know that you really can't solo this game for very long. So that is my quick look here, relatively quick look at Conclave. This is a browser-based game. I will leave a link in the description to the website. You can sign up for free. Your free account, just like this is a free account. You will get, I believe, 5 or access to 5. Yes, I believe it's the first 5 quests you gain access to for free, and then you can pay a one-time fee and get access to another 10, or was it 10 or 15? I believe there's 20 altogether, and I think it's 15 you can buy or 10 you can buy. I don't remember, honestly. It's some combination of those two numbers. You would think I would have written it down here somewhere so I could actually tell you. Maybe it's in the store here. Yeah, here's the prices. The campaign license, 15 quests that continue the story begun in the free quests. And it increases your character limit to 10 and grants all your characters 100 renown, as well as the ability to respec at the pool of reflection, which I can't do right now because I'm a freebie. So there you go, and here's some extra trinkets for you. So that's it. That's my look quickly at Conclave. You should go check it out if you like what you saw here. Get some more of the story while you're at it, and maybe even purchase the full campaign if you like what you see. Also, I should note that only one person in your party has to buy the campaign, and then everybody gains access to it. So if you have a bunch of friends and you want to gather together, only one of you has to put up the money for the campaign. As you saw, it was only $20, so it's not like it's a huge deal. In fact, you could all probably split it amongst yourselves and just put up the dough for it, and only one person needs to actually install it for everybody to play. So that is it for me, and I hope that this time around this has recorded successfully. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.